All right, let me try to make this very clear with regards to what's going on here, okay? Glucose oxidation, we are simply talking about the breakdown of glucose, right? We say oxidation because we are taking hydrogens with their electrons off of the glucose molecules, right? So when we take those electrons and those hydrogens off of the glucose, remember that is oxidation. So glucose oxidation is nothing more than the breakdown of glucose, okay? In the process, carbon dioxide and water will be formed. So you're going to have to know this chemical reaction, but students get so freaked out when they see these letters and these numbers, and it doesn't make sense. But let me assure you, it really, really does, okay? So all we're talking about is how your body stays alive. Your cells have to stay alive. If your cells do not stay alive, you do not stay alive. So what is needed to give you the energy to keep your cells alive? Well, what's needed is glucose from the food that you eat and oxygen from the air that you breathe. So those are the things that go into your body. Okay, well, what do you breathe out? You breathe out carbon dioxide and water. You may not think about the water, but breathe on a mirror and you'll certainly see the water. Okay, so these are the things that come out of your body. I really don't think at this point that that's something I needed to teach you. I really feel like that's something you probably already know. So all we're going to do is now put this into chemical formula format. All right, let's come back to the glucose. Oxygen, you already know, is O2. Carbon dioxide, I'm sure you know, is CO2. And water, I'm sure you know, is H2O. The only one you may not be familiar with and have to memorize is glucose, C6H12O6. All right, and just like magic, we fixed that typo. So as I said, glucose is C6H12O6. All right, then you just have to remember to put a 6 in front of the oxygen, the carbon dioxide, and the water, okay? Easiest thing to remember is just remember that the glucose already has some 6's, so it doesn't need any more. That's completely non-chemistry related, but it may just help you remember where the 6's go, okay? It has to do with balancing the equation. So all that we're saying here is that glucose and oxygen are going into the body and carbon dioxide and water are coming out of the body. Well, what happened in the middle? Why did this happen? This happened because in the process of breaking down, of oxidizing that glucose, you are releasing energy. The energy from those bonds gets released when you break them, and that energy can be used to make ATP, right? ATP picks up that energy and simply takes it to wherever it's needed in the cell, gives up that energy, and then comes back to get more, right? Remember we talked about ATP cycling. It picked up energy from an exergonic reaction. Well, this is that exergonic reaction, okay? This is the exergonic reaction from which ATP picks up the energy, right? And as long as this keeps going on, then your cells stay alive, right? And then if your cells stay alive, then typically you stay alive. So the next bit of this PowerPoint, actually the last whole bit of this PowerPoint, is going to be about this process and the steps of glucose oxidation, otherwise known as cellular respiration, okay? Cellular respiration is the breakdown of glucose to release the energy needed for ATP, and then that ATP carries that energy to wherever it's needed in your cells. Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about here in the next bit.